What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Blake's Take. And when you think of the second half of the 2010s, you think of the Golden State Warriors ruling over the basketball world. 5 straight finals appearances, winning a championship 3 out of those 5 times. After blowing the first ever 3-1 lead in 2016, the Warriors were not taking any more chances, adding one of the most incredible players on the planet to their lineup with Kevin Durant, in one of the most controversial and heated free agency signings in NBA history. The Warriors then went back-to-back with Durant dominating the competition until the 2019 NBA Finals, where everything collapsed, while Kevin Durant tearing his Achilles and Klay Thompson tearing his ACL. Ultimately, the Toronto Raptors, led by Kawhi Leonard, were able to prevent the three-peat and claim their first championship in franchise history. After that, Durant decided to pursue free agency, where he ended up in Brooklyn, forming an arguably even better super team with Kyrie Irving and James Harden. This left one of the biggest what-ifs in sports history. What would have happened had Kevin Durant not left Golden State after the 2018-19 season? It's been intriguing into what Durant went out and got in Brooklyn. Many have pointed to an argument Durant got into it with Draymond back in 2018. Green was ultimately suspended for 1 game for conduct detrimental to the team, and it was a talking point over the rest of the season. When Durant ended up leaving Golden State in free agency, some pointed to the rocky relationship between him and Green as a reason for it. However, Durant revealed that there's more to the story. It wasn't the argument. It was the way that everybody, Steve Kerr in particular, acted like it didn't happen, Durant said. Bob Myers then tried to just discipline you and think that you would put on the mask over everything. I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that. We had to get all that stuff out. We tried to dance around it. I just didn't like how we did that. Just the vibe between all of that, it just made stuff weird to me. I'd rather us be who we are, family first. Communication is key. We didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything. In response, Green shared how Warriors general manager Bob Myers and the rest of the Golden State's brass told him he needed to apologize to Durant. Although Green agreed in the sentiment that he didn't want to be told what to say to smooth things over. Ultimately, they realized, all right, we're not going to get through to him. We're going to have to try again in the morning, Green said. So, we met the next morning and they said, you slept on it. Are you ready to apologize? And I told them right then and there, I said, y'all are about to F this up. The only person that can make this right is between me and Kay. And there is nothing that y'all can do about that. And y'all are going to F this up. And in my opinion, they F'd it up. Durant agreed that Brass was trying to force the situation too much, while all at the same time acting like nothing happened. If that situation happened differently, perhaps Durant is still on the Warriors. So behind the scenes, the front office and management were the ones making Durant uncomfortable and trying to control this situation. Now, obviously, in the interview, you're not going to bash Draymond Green because there's definitely some tension there after we saw in that Clippers game and throughout the rest of that 2019 season. But they're not going to make that publicly and go at each other. But we already know that they had their differences and they settled that off the court. But whenever a superstar leaves a team, that and always a front office has a responsibility and a fair share of blame for not doing everything they could to retain that superstar player in free agency. But the real question that came to my mind after analyzing this interview between Draymond and KD, that was an incredible interview that they had. I am left with the question of, not of the front office, that got addressed, not between him and Draymond, that got addressed. But there's one player who is the franchise player, the face of the franchise, the center of it all, Stephen Curry. Where was he in all this? The glue. He was not even brought up once in this interview. I'm just perplexed as to how Steph would have just sat back and done nothing about KD's desire to depart. It is intriguing, but KD and Draymond gave their first-hand accounts of the situation, so now all we can do is just speculate. This could have been one of the greatest dynasties in sports history had KD chose to stay. But he chose to move on and start a new chapter, one in Brooklyn that shall all go according to plan, could turn out to be even better than the Warriors dynasty could have been. the Nets will have another excellent opportunity to win the first title in franchise history during the upcoming 2021-22 season. With three of the best players to ever play at their size, they have so much overwhelming talent, it's ridiculous. But as we all saw, injuries plagued them last season, so we never got to see the big three in full form, which is why they ultimately fell short to the eventual NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks and Finals MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo in a thriller of a Game 7 playoff series. So, as long as they can stay healthy though, they will be an extremely tough team to topple. If they were healthy, they would have had no problem getting through the Bucks and any other team for that matter, and I can anticipate that will be the same outcome for this season, and potentially many more to come. The championships after that. Shal Irving and Harden signed their contract extensions with the Nets. It's exciting to see what they will become, but it's also very speculative and very fun to think about what the Warriors could have been had KD not got injured, had Klay not got injured. That team could still be together, and this Nets team wouldn't even exist. It's just crazy how the NBA has changed ever since that season. LeBron winning this championship with the Lakers, that could have maybe never happened had he never come out of the West. We wouldn't say LeBron had 4 championships right now. Lots of things could have changed had Durant not got injured, or mainly how the front office, when tensions wouldn't have got so difficult and so high tension between the front office and their star players. Draymond is still in Golden State, and he realizes the tension that they had at that time between him and the front office. But I am just still very concerned as to where Stephen Curry was in this. Had he not want to keep Kevin Durant there, do something to get him to remain in Golden State, I just don't see how that happens when you have your 2-time Finals MVP along your side just leaving, when you could just keep going on your championship dynasty run. But it's the way it is now, and now KD is looking like he could win another championship out in Brooklyn. It's very likely that could happen, but you never know. The Warriors could come out of nowhere. Klay's coming back. Draymond's coming back. Iguodala signed. It's the same 2015 team that won the NBA championship. You never know. They could be a dark horse to come out of the West and win it all, potentially taking on Kevin Durant in the finals. But we'll see what happens. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. You can catch all of this and more on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or YouTube. Hope you all enjoyed the content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.